The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Human Rights and Justice for All. I'm your host, Greg Malone. I appreciate you listening in today. And I am speaking on abortion issues today, 10 abortion arguments for pro-life and 10 arguments for pro-choice or against or for abortion. The reason I'm bringing this up on both sides of the argument is I think it behooves us to know what both sides are saying with regard to their arguments about abortion and whether or not it's correct or not. So I would appreciate if you would call in on our show today. My name is Greg Malone, and our phone number is 561-623-9429. That number is 561-623-9429. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit about the show. My email address is Human Rights and Justice for All, and it is also my website is humanrightsandjusticeforall.com. You can also reach me at Rights Justice on Twitter. That's rights, capitalized, justice, capitalized, all one word, on Twitter. And I would just like to bring to you now these arguments. And like I said, I would like it if you would call in if you any of these touch on something that you feel is something you can add to the argument. I would greatly appreciate that. First thing I'm going to go through is the pro-life arguments, which are since life begins at conception, abortion is akin to murder. It is the act of taking human life. Abortion is direct defiance of the commonly accepted idea of the sanctity of human life. So that goes without saying. That's the basic basic argument against abortion by most people who are against it, is that it is tantamount to murder. And I've mentioned many times Mother Teresa's quote about if it's okay to kill a baby, what is the difference than killing me? So that is what the basic argument is. Number two, no civilized society permits one human to intentionally harm or take the life of another human without punishment. And abortion is no different. Now, in the past, I have cited Connor and Lacey's law about abortion, or not abortion, but against killing a person who is pregnant, a woman who is pregnant, and that being judged as murder. And so I really want to, stress that the law of our nation, and again, this is a federal law, that says that if you kill a woman who has a baby and is pregnant at any point during her pregnancy, that means from the moment of the fertilized egg, that it is considered abortion, or murder, I'm sorry. It is considered murder. So, again, the law agrees with this, and it does collapse the Roe versus Wade argument with regard to life, because in the Roe versus Wade argument, it states that the life is not a life, it is just tissue up until a certain point in the gestation period of the child. And now the definition by law is that babies are human and have all the rights of a human being, and so that is saying basically that abortion is murder, and it is prosecuted as such. Okay. Adoption is a viable alternative to abortion and accomplishes the same result. And with 1.5 million American families wanting to adopt a child, there is no such thing as an unwanted child. So we see here that it is stating that there's no such thing as an unwanted child. And even when they go into the pro-abortion facts, we also see that this also is an argument that the pro-abortion crowd uses, or pro-choice crowd uses, that women keep their children after giving birth, and this is a problem because they keep their child. I don't know how they argue that, but that's what they argue. An abortion can result in medical complications later in life. The risk of ectopic pregnancy doubles, and the chance of miscarriage and pelvic inflammatory disease also increases. You'll have to excuse me for my halting speech. It is what God has given me to work with, so I do the best I can. In the instance of rape and incest, proper medical care can ensure that a woman will not get pregnant. Abortion punishes the unborn child who committed no crime. Instead, it is the perpetrator who should be punished. And my argument is, why kill a baby if due to incest or due to rape? And again, I've mentioned about children that I have met who were products of rape, wonderful little children, and being loved by families who dearly wanted a child but were unable to have a child. And so I cannot see this as a reason for killing a child because somebody was a perpetrator who committed a crime. And my heart really goes out to the women who this has happened to, and they definitely should be supported with love from not only from their families and those around them, but from the Christian community. Number 6, abortion should not be used as another form of contraception. Now, I talked to Jennifer Bowen, the executive director of Right to Life here in Iowa, and she stated that there were people that she has talked to who have had 7 abortions, and they use it as a form of contraception. They just absolutely disregard the thought that this is human life, and they're completely careless regard to their sexual activity and have abortions. Number 7, for women who demand complete control of their body, control should include preventing the risk of unwanted pregnancy. And getting back to this, just a second, I had a technical problem. Okay, for women who demand complete control of their body, control should include preventing the risk of unwanted pregnancy through the responsible use of contraception, or, if that is not possible, through abstinence, the old-fashioned abstinence thing, that people should avoid sexual activity if they do not want to become pregnant, and that is primarily in teens and young people who are unmarried. They should abstain from having sex. The Bible says so, and logic and common sense says so also. Number 8, many Americans who pay taxes are opposed to abortion. Therefore, it is morally wrong to use tax dollars to fund abortion. Now, we see that happening today where with the new Obamacare law, or otherwise called as the Affordable Care Act, which is turning out to be not so affordable. It is morally wrong to use tax dollars, and there are a lot of people out there who will withhold tax dollars because of funding of abortion. Those who choose abortions are often minors or young women with insufficient life experience to understand fully what they are doing. Many have lifelong regrets afterward, and we'll get a little bit into that a little bit later. And number 10, abortion frequently causes intense psychological pain and stress, which is again denied by those who are pro-abortion. So now let's look into the pro-choice or pro-abortion arguments that are listed in our 10 arguments for pro-choice. And again, I got this article off of about.com, and it's called Women's Issues, 10 Abortion Arguments, 10 Arguments for Abortion, and 10 Arguments Against Abortion. And this is by Linda Lowen, is the person who wrote this about.com Women's Issues argument. So let's go into the pro-choice argument. 10 arguments for abortion. Nearly all abortions take place in the first trimester, when a fetus cannot exist independent from the mother. As it is attached by the placenta and umbilical cord, its health is dependent on her health and cannot be regarded as a separate entity, as it cannot exist outside the womb. It sounds like this is a very strong pro-life and pro-against abortion statement. It's true that most abortions take place in the first trimester. I don't have any issue with that. When a fetus cannot exist independent of the mother, I agree with that. As it is attached by the placenta and the umbilical cord, I agree with that. Its health is dependent on her health. Who wouldn't argue that? Nobody would. And cannot be regarded as a separate entity, as it cannot exist outside her womb. All these statements are true, and they do not support abortion, the reason for abortion. Now, what they do when they use this little way of saying this is they feel that they're setting up their other arguments to this statement supports their other arguments concerning abortion. So let's get into those other arguments that they're stating. Okay, this is number 2 argument for abortion. The concept of personhood is different from the concept of human life. So this statement is just on its face absolutely just an irrelevant statement, because the reason for that is that because in the preamble of the Constitution, or actually in the Declaration of Independence, let me pull that out here, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So some of these unalienable rights are among them are life. So constitutionally speaking, this argument about personhood and concept of human life is life begins at the moment of conception. And again, the argument here stated is, and this is from the pro-abortion lobby or pro-abortion people, the very next statement says, human life occurs at conception. And there are several pro-choice individuals who have stated this here recently, that human life occurs at conception. So in the preamble or actually in part of the Declaration of Independence, it talks about having from our